Yeah, what's going on, you guys? We got a special video for you guys today. As you can see, we are standing out front of FreightWaves. Yeah, FreightWaves. I know, I'm a goofball. Sorry, that's what you get. We're over here at FreightWaves. Behind us is happening FreightWaves style. And look, we're in front of the FreightWaves main screen, the one you see on YouTube and Facebook every day. So make sure you guys click the link below and check out FreightWaves, because we're in the building, man. We're in the building. What's going on, you guys? We are sitting here at FreightWaves with JP, and he's going to tell us a little bit more about the company and what FreightWaves does. So, glad to have you on the show, man.
Yeah, thanks.
It's kind of cool. I'm kind of starstruck to meet him because I watch FreightWaves myself on YouTube and Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff. So, how long have you been with the company?
Almost 2 years. I started in October 2017.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what is FreightWaves? I mean,
so FreightWaves is a media and data startup for the transportation industries, and we gather data from all different sources. We have editorial staff who does commentary, and we have a software product that people can subscribe to and get real-time insight into freight markets.
I mean, I had some of the clips of what the sonar looked like. and that's the software he's talking about. And there's so much data in that software. I mean, it almost seemed impossible to fail with all the information that's on the Sonar software. So, how long has FreightWaves been around?
FreightWaves has probably been in existence for about 3 years, but it really started kind of accelerating and growing when they were able to like raise seed funding again, like in the fall of 2017.
Okay.
And that's when that was kind of before we really had a product. We had just started a kind of a basic news service, and then in May of 2018, we launched the first version of Sonar.
Awesome. I mean, like I said, I saw just bits and pieces of it, and it's pretty wild.
Yeah, it is really kind of amazing and overwhelming, and it takes a lot of practice to really learn how to navigate it. But once you get some experience, you can build these really cool watch lists and sort of customize your own experience, the key indicators that you find most useful, the markets that you're most interested in, you can kind of make your own page just for those. So when you click on it, everything pops up.
So JP, what else can you tell me about FreightWaves, man?
It's been a phenomenal journey, honestly. I was the second full-time editorial employee. Now we have 35 writers kind of scattered across the world. When I started, I think there were maybe 15 people in the company total, and now we're like pushing 120.
Yeah, I mean, the atmosphere here is amazing. I mean, what could you say about the atmosphere? I mean, here you are. You don't have to wear a suit and tie to work. You can come in comfortable.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's just doing their own thing.
It's a lot of really smart people who are amazing at different things. Like a lot of our best salespeople used to be freight brokers. We've got people who, Zach Strickland was in LTL pricing. The president of Transplace, former president of Transplace, is one of our executives. People who are involved in truckload on the shipper side, freight forwarders. They're all here. Some of them are good at sales. Some of them are good at data. Some of them are good at writing. Some of them are good at partnerships and different things like that. But what's so cool about working at a place like FreightWaves is that when there's a need or a project, or if the company needs to make a pivot, we can just assemble like an A team of the perfect people to work on this, get them all together, hammer something out, and really see like fast, amazing results. So it's a really dynamic place to work, and it's been super fun. Yeah,
I can tell that the atmosphere is just full of energy. I mean, we were saying downstairs, who wants to go to work on a Monday? I mean, at this place, who wouldn't want to go to work on a Monday,
That's great.
I mean, Fridays are got to be, the sad day, whatever. So, but listen.
Friday afternoons here are pretty
well,
fun.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? But usually Fridays is like the exciting day, but, Mondays, that's that quote unquote, the Mondays, So.
Right, yeah.
But so listen, I appreciate your time. I look forward to doing more work with you guys in the future. Make sure you guys check out FreightWaves. All the links are going to be below in the description box. If you don't know, click it and go check it out.
Thanks for having me on.
We're out of here, bro. Thank you so much. All right, you guys, we're back here for another quick interview with the owner of FreightWaves. Craig, how you doing?
I'm doing great. It's glad to have you.
So tell everybody, what was your, the vision behind creating FreightWaves?
So I think what we set out to do is provide information and context written from and provide context for people that are in the industry. So we have about 30 full-time journalists, but a lot of those they're really good storytellers, but they're informed with the rest of the operation are people who have been in the operation. So these are former folks that have been dispatchers, have sold freight, have worked on in big companies and routed freight and shippers and such. And I think having that context helps inform it. I think what we set out to do is just provide more transparency. So the idea is leveling the playing field. So, and it's interesting because at times, trucking is an industry with a lot of opinions. A lot of people have opinions, good and bad.
Yes, they do.
And even at times, we even contradict ourselves internally. And I think that dialogue is important. And what we're trying to do is to bring more awareness to different thoughts of the industry, what's happening, so that people can make their own decisions about what that means to them.
Awesome. So what's the long-term goal for FreightWaves? I mean, you guys been around 3 years, give or take. where do you see, what's the long-term goal for the company?
Yeah, so I think we're scaling it up to continue to bring more transparency to the global freight markets and bring more awareness of things that are happening around the landscape of not only just trucking, but just broadly. And so, we've got a lot of things that are relevant for the trucking community, which includes our data product Sonar, our news site, which is free, and I think we intend to keep it free and available for everybody. And we're building FreightWaves TV, which is really the first over-the-top streaming TV network dedicated to the idea of freight and what's happening. So awesome. Not everything is something that someone that's a driver would be interested in, and not everything that someone that's in the back office would be interested in. We're trying to bring a lot of content to a lot of people.
That's awesome. So let me ask you this: what did you do before FreightWaves? I mean, where did the idea stem from, and what were you doing before? And when did the light bulb click?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I've been in trucking my whole life. My father started U.S. Express, the big truckload carrier.
Okay.
So I've been in the space. I grew up in the industry, and I didn't want to work for my brother. Nothing wrong with my brother, but I just didn't want to work for my brother.
Did you ever drive?
No, I didn't drive. So
okay.
I was a dispatcher, a driver manager, and fleet manager.
Oh boy, okay.
So I did driver managing, fleet managing, repowers.
Oh boy,
I the company's first help desk, so I loaded software.
Okay.
But I think some of the funnest times I had was actually dealing with the drivers, and not dealing with them, but interacting with them.
Right.
And I had a load board. I had
it's
a
like,
board
hey,
of about 30
drivers.
There, you know? Yeah. I had a board of about 30 drivers in high school, and then in college, in the evenings, in the summers, I would actually work night dispatch, and so I would have
night dispatch
of 400. Those were all the craziness.
That's all you had to say was night dispatch.
No,
or
that's where all the
dispatch.
craziness happened. Because what would happen is you would get all the day dispatchers would leave all the junk.
Right, the leftovers. No turnover.
And so the driver would be at the dock for 10. He'd been there all day.
Right.
They've been abandoned. So but it's also where all my best stories in the trucking industry came from my nights working dispatch. So
I mean, and I can see where the dedication comes in, because you weren't a driver, but you were on the other end of the stick, and you know what's going on in the industry, and you know firsthand how the drivers are treated, from shippers and to receivers, so
we take a point of view. We take a point of view that ultimately, and it's something that was impressed upon me. I think all too often in this industry, people say drivers are important. They don't really mean it, and I think even at times where my father's business would maybe at times they weren't making all the decisions right for the drivers all the time.
Correct.
Because there are always conflicting things. I think it was always instilled in him, and he meant it sincerely, because he brought me up to think about how important the driver is. It was something he was pretty passionate about, and I think that at an early age, I really learned how important the driver was. And I think now that I'm back, we don't have trucks here, and we're not running freight, and I think in many ways we get to sit back and I like the analogy. We use the analogy of Bloomberg, although what I've learned is a lot of the folks in trucking aren't watching Bloomberg, reading Bloomberg. They are watching ESPN. So the analogy I get told is we're like the ESPN of freight.
Yeah.
And oftentimes the people that we bring in to write content or be analysts are the former quarterbacks or the former linemen, the people who've driven trucks. We do have truck drivers. We have dispatchers. We have managers. And these are the guys that understand what's happening on the ground. And I think we try to take a point of view of, we just try to understand how things are impacted, and I think we understand that if you create an environment where you're not, it's going to impact the driver negatively, then that's going to impact the ability to attract drivers, which impacts the capacity map and those things and the service and all that. And so we're just trying to diagnose it, not pass judgment on the parties, but ultimately we want. If you look at detention itself, nobody gains in detention.
Right. No.
Shippers aren't gaining, brokers aren't gaining, drivers aren't gaining, carriers aren't gaining. No one wins when trucks and drivers are sitting at the dock. And I think all too often there's in the industry, there's this sort of, it's somebody else's problem and no one wants to.
They pass the buck. Yeah, it gets passed. Yeah.
Shippers say it's not my fault.
Right.
Carriers are like, well, that's the broker, or
Yep.
that's the shipper, and it's a lot of this. And the driver's like, well, I just want to get loaded and get the heck out of here.
Right. I can tell you as a driver myself, you know, I've experienced it on both ends, at the shipper and or the receiver, and they just don't care. You know, it is what it is. And then, you know, especially now with the ELD mandates, you know, you'll start your clock, you'll get there, you'll finally get in a door, or, you know, and then finally get unloaded. And now you're out of hours, and they're like, get off our property.
Yeah.
You know, situations like that. It's just like
it's an unfortunate reality, and I think the problem is that they see it as they're buying your time to move the truck. They're the customer,
Right.
And there's a sense of entitlement at times that happen, but it happens in all parties that are.
Oh yeah.
Dispatchers. When I was a dispatcher and I'm having a bad day, and I would take it out probably on a driver because I'm having a bad day, and if he just triggers me, then I'm having a bad day, and he's having a bad day. We're all having a bad day.
I've had that happen plenty of times.
And at times it happens with where even shippers are trying to accommodate, the driver's frustrated, and so all these. I think a lot of times it's an industry that's full of frustrations. And the thing that I try to tell people who've never driven a truck before that travel, and I say, look. You ever been at an airport and you're supposed to leave at 10 a.m. and your flight's delayed, and it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon?
Yeah.
That is exhausting.
Yep.
And then you imagine getting behind a truck with 80,000 pounds that you're hauling down a highway after dealing with all of these delays and all of these inconsistencies. Mm-hmm. Imagine having to drive that truck then. And that's what it feels like to be a driver every day.
Yep.
It's the inconsistencies of the time, it's the lack of transparency, and I think we have an opportunity because we talk, you know, our community, as we put content out, we're able to talk about it across all of these parties. Hopefully we're helping to educate them about the importance of thinking about how to make these processes easier for drivers.
That's awesome. Well, look, I don't want to take too much of your time up. I do appreciate you hanging out with me.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah.
I'll let you get back to work, and thank you for being here, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks for having us here. I mean, this has got to be, I'll tell you what, if I wasn't a truck driver and a recruiter and all that stuff.
Well, you should come join. You guys should set up shop right here.
Well, actually, you know.
We're studio right here in Chattanooga.
You know, comment below if you want to see the little guy on a weekly segment here at FreightWaves.
Here in FreightWaves.
You know?
Come to Chattanooga. We're going to host this right here, right?
That's exactly what
I love it.
I mean, all right, so there you guys have it. FreightWaves, you guys. I have all of their information in the description box below. I encourage you guys to go check it out. We were able to learn a lot about this company today. A lot of really cool. I mean, they have their own bar, dude.
A weekly show with you also. Don't forget.
They're
gonna make it happen.
They want to put me on their weekly show, so I want you guys to comment below if you guys want to see the little guy on their weekly show in the booth with the headphones on in front of the big microphone. Let me know what you guys think. Also, I've got some really big news coming up in another video, but that's for another video. So like I said before, check out the links below, all the FreightWaves information, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. We're out of here.